While doing fairly standard routine of procrastinating watching YouTube, I came across some very interesting content. This young man has a whole series of videos about LEGO Minecraft builds. Basically, he built Minecraft from LEGO. Looking at all this, I wondered if it's possible to do it in reverse, just build a LEGO set in Minecraft, and if so, what it would look like in general. Plus, I'm broke, so I don't have money for real LEGO, so collecting sets in Minecraft, it's purely win-win situation. And that's exactly what I did. For this I chose this beautiful set, and looking ahead, it turned out even better than I expected. I wanted to use the same scale as LEGO use in Minecraft sets, 2x2 stats per one block, because in this case it would be exactly the scale of Minecraft character. It all started, of course, from a collection of resources, and the biggest difficulty in this regard was only wool, because in this world I have not yet built a sheep farm. I'm not going to talk much about it, because the most interesting thing that can happen during this, it's a typical Bedrock gameplay moment. I don't know much about what's going on here, but it definitely won't stop me from building a blacksmith, and I'm just showing this for fun. So when I had all necessary resources, all I had to do is to find a suitable place. I knew that was a taiga village near my base, which was ideal because this blacksmith should fit perfectly into such a setting. After arriving in a village, I immediately began to build a wall around, well, you know, so that workers did not hesitate and make America great again, or what those walls are usually built for, I don't know. And of course I light up everything, as well as close all tunnels and pits, just to make the area safer, for example, you know, so that the homeless would not bite villagers at night. In progress I also met a creeper, but there was no badabooms. While I was doing this, I found an area in village that should be great place for a blacksmith, so I cut down trees and started building. I used blocks of packed mud for the floor because they was most reminiscent for those LEGO plates, and since I wasn't sure what size of room I need, I decided to do interior details at first. Here this barrel with rods will be just a barrel with fans, but the table next to it is already a little bit more interesting. There was a helmet in details, and to reproduce it I used a technique with piston and armor stand, which I once saw on YouTube. It didn't quite work from the first time, but I am satisfied in general. The other two pieces were much easier to make. Right next to this table was something that looked like a storage, so I decided to use two blocks and trapdoors to make a bigger chest, and as well a completely normal Minecraft chest. There were two pieces of armor hanging now above the greenstone table, so again I used just armor stands and piston, and it turned out pretty good. And for the greenstone itself, I use a skeleton head that I stealthily stole from Ancient City. Of course with no problems. I made this coal storage from block of coal, wow, interesting, and also add some stairs to the side. In original it's brown, but I added some deep slate, so to make it look like a wood covered in coal dust. So now, when I've got the main furniture in place, I can start creating walls. I use stone bricks for them, and since the corners have a bit of texture, I decided it would better to make them from deep slate bricks. Of course, for obvious reasons, there are windows in walls, which in original have a mesh structure, so I decided to try bamboo trapdoors for this. Right wall had a wooden support for a second floor, and there are 4 of them. But they only 1 brick thick, so I thought that I couldn't fit all of them, so I only made 3. But it's not the final version. Unexpectedly, I even use the buttons here. Usually I don't do that because I consider that as over detailing, but here they look pretty normal. And when I was already satisfied with the result, I broke all this disgrace and moved it in one block to the side to better convey the proportion. And in future I will learn that it was a good decision. And one more small detail for this wall, these banners that represent shield. I'm not expert in banner patterns, so you have to pretend that it's a bird. Well, and what is a blacksmith without a forge furnace? And how I can do this without ingenious solutions that will definitely not cause problems later? For example, the use of lava, and I'm sure it will not cause problems in future. There is no wide doors in Minecraft, so I just use double doors, and in general they must be broken to build a 4th wall, and after that they can be placed back, because these are quite obvious action to collect more creativity. Which allows me to understand that trapdoors look not so good and it's much better to use a fence. However, I lacked creativity for these details. I didn't know how to make them at all, so I just use a fence and 2 signs. At this I realized that the first floor was finished, so I used granite slabs to create a temporary ceiling that would make it easier to build the second floor. On the side for access to the second floor there are stairs with rather large steps, so I decided to make them from slabs. In original there were 7 steps, I ended up with 9. There are also additional supports for the roof on the stairs, which I also initially make to better understand the future proportion. Also, before starting the creation of second floor, I finished the chimney so that I can use it as a kind of anchor point. Separately, I want to emphasize that there were no bugs during creation of the chimney. Everything went perfectly, and I even added some deep slate to reproduce dark tiles. The second floor was really tricky. I couldn't figure out how exactly I want to build it for quite a long time, so I just threw some macaroni against the walls and see what would stick, but no one told me that in order to this to work, the macaroni has to be cooked. I didn't know this, that's why I spent more time that I wanted on this. Nevertheless, this time did not pass for nothing, because while I was playing like this, I began to think about the meaning of the life and realized that this thing can be still with 4 pillars and it will definitely not cause problems in future. With the resounding success of the 4th pillar use, I was already able to finish all 4 walls, so I was able to begin the interior of second floor. Here one of the main points of view is stairs to the roof, so I will recreate everything starting from them. There is a table right next to them, so I use a technique with inverted stairs for this. I also put classic Minecraft chairs, and I didn't forget about food and drinks. Speaking of drinks, there was a barrel of something definitely non-alcoholic in the corner under the stairs. At first I used a fence as a tap, but later I realized that hook fits much better. Speaking of small changes, another barrel in the corner near the chimney also said have a cooking stove under the chimney itself, and there were also cooking table on the side.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
And at this moment I realize that leaving lava near wood it's actually a bad idea. Who would guess this? It threw me off track a little because I didn't know how to solve it, and I don't wanna change this fourth pillar. I even thought that maybe I should replace lava with some jack-o'-lantern or something, but in the end I just realized that I can use a trapdoor and it will completely remove the problem. In the set on the stove there is a cup and some teapot or what it is, and it everything quite easy with a cup, but for a teapot I decided to be more creative. First try. Well, that is, I finished interior of the second floor, so I can start building the roof, but before that I have to do this smaller piece of the roof that was placed on the chimney for some reason. The shape there is not so difficult, and the most interesting part for me that was this plate on the front, because this is where I use hanging signs for the first time and I like them. So now I started building the roof. Originally I wanted to make 4 out of packed mud for consistency, but to interact with the stairs while keeping the scale better, I need to use stairs and slabs, so here I use granite. To roughly understand what shape of the roof I will have, I started to make a simple left wall. Surprisingly, it turns out good enough in the first try, so I copied this to opposite side. The only difficulty in that there was a small room that was tricky to reproduce, but I will try my best. Inside this little room is something that looked like a lectern, and you don't have to be a genius to guess what I used to reproduce it. Just easy. Next I started to do central arches. They are quite rounded, so I use fairly standard technique with steps and trapdoors. The only thing that I would like to note is that these arches are not symmetrical. And now, when I'm editing everything in video, I notice that I have asymmetry in the wrong direction. So here is an additional video piece of correcting this fundamental error. I make the bed from beds, so it can be actually used like if it was just survival base. I even found the place for a crafting table. There also should be a bear skin on the floor, but since Minecraft is against animal cruelty, I will support this big brain idea and just make a black carpet. So the interior is mostly finished, and all that remains is to decorate the chimney. And then I can start the roof itself. I start making roof with this window. At first I thought to make a 2 blocks wide window, but I changed my mind and make 1 block wide. The roof will be difficult to make because it uses a blue palette, which is very limited in Minecraft. No slabs, no stairs, just a real blocks, just like in good old days. Although it's not exactly like in good old days, because I will use copper blocks so that it will be crossover with good old days. While running here and there, I decided that it would better to change wood type for better contrast. Overall, the roof was easy to make. Once I figured out what shape I wanted, I just started laying down colors in roughly the same order as tiles in Lego, and at the top where those greenish tiles starts, I even used different blocks for the smooth one and ones with the studs. When I was done with the front of the roof, I also decided to finish the chimney, and I even used fences and item frames to give a more authentic look. After this huge success with chimney, I got a boost of self-confidence to finally get up from my chair, warm it up and went to eat because I need some energy to play Minecraft. And after that small rest, I started to do other side of the roof. There was also extra detail that I did from the stairs. I also added torches inside, as their light will pass through non-solid blocks, preventing mobs from spawning. Now to finish the roof I just need to add beams along the edges. I was very excited because already began to understand that it was very close to final, because I only had to finish the external decoration. I started with the firewood storage. Here I also used Deepslate to reproduce the textures. There should be an apple tree and well near the firewood storage, so I additionally cleared and slightly extended the area nearby. An apple tree grows out of stone, so I made this stone out of stone blocks. The trunk and roots will be mangrove wood. I will also add fences to make smaller branches. For leaves I'm going to use azalea leaves because they are quite bright with a nice suitable color. Plus in Lego this apple tree has fruits that I can't recreate, so I thought a blooming apple tree would play a nice analogy of that. For the well I used waterlogged stairs and even made a small roof from slabs and carpets. On the other side of house there was a small garden with an interesting detail, two sizes of pumpkins, and I didn't even think about it, but you actually can place carved pumpkin on the armor stand, which allows me to reproduce this detail, and I'm very happy about it. At the front of the house, under the chimney, there is some orange Lego plate, so I made it from granite. I also decided to make path from the village to entrance, just to make it more logical, like if it was a part of the village. Similar plate was nearby well, so I poured some red sand there, and of course I also made a path to it. And well, basically the blacksmith itself... Wait, what? And well, basically the blacksmith itself, it's already finished, but I wanted to make a step further. So the Lego model has some additional textures on the walls, which I also recreated, and I'm fine with the moss, but bricks on the second floor look a bit noisy in my opinion, but I don't know, write a comment about what you think. And it would seem that everything is done and villagers can start to celebrate housewarming, but the set is not finished yet, because there is a still most important detail, the wagon with horse. Now everything done. here is an overview of this beautiful building. What I can say, it was cool, I enjoyed the process, it didn't even take that much time. The construction itself took about 7 hours, during which it was just relaxing building. Of course, in addition to this, you need to spend some time to collect resources. But if you don't use some fancy skeleton heads, then it shouldn't take long time. So it's just a great choice for those who want some easy project that can be created in 1 week of just very relaxing building after work. The interesting thing is that this blacksmith looks quite Minecrafty, and even in this village it doesn't stand out that much. It's just like some villager want to be very fancy, and if you make some changes it will be just a great survival base. Therefore, I strongly recommend you to try building something similar. Big salmon approval from me. And that's it for now. I hope this video wasn't as disappointing as a recent Minecraft live. I hope you enjoy it, and if you want you can suggest some LEGO sets that you like to see, and if you notice any mistakes in my speech, I will appreciate comment about it, because I'm still learning how to speak English and it will be very helpful to me. I wish you all good luck and peaceful sky.